Hello, YouTube. So this is part three and the final part of my review of the How to Train Your Dragon series. Well, final for now until How to Train Your Dragon episode, not episode, the third movie comes out. How to Train Your Dragon 2, the most recent film. How to describe this? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to approach this one because, like, the first one you had to approach as like, what was how to describe this? The first one you kind of had to approach as a Pixar send off. The second one, the TV show, you had to kind of approach with the mind that this is for intended for kids. This one, this one's kind of strange to review because the kids who watched this when the first movie came out are obviously going to be older. The so in reviewing this film, the right mind would be to review this as like um with older eyes. Um, so I heard a lot of good reviews here, and I guess uh one of the main like points that a lot of people pointed out about this movie that a lot of people liked was the fact that everything's older. Like everything is like grown up. Everything is like even the storylines mature, not just the characters, not just their designs. Like the story is now more mature, and we're getting into these uncharted waters. It's not a kids movie anymore. Well, I mean, yeah, it's still a kids movie, but like I can understand the appeal that like kids are watching a movie that's intended for them, but also makes them kind of feel a little more grown up. Um, which it's fine. I'm not criticizing against that, but I mean, if it's intended for like more for an older audience, then why does the second half feel like a kids movie? Now, okay, yeah, that's a criticism right there, but I'm gonna be fairly blunt here. I honestly did not like How to Train Your Dragon 2 as much as the first movie, and I'm saying that as a really disappointed. Like I really liked the first one, and the TV show was fine, but this one I'm gonna have to put my foot down. Like even though this was not a bad movie, this I feel like was not a very good sequel, and. It's not this movie's not egregious or anything. Like nothing intensely bad happened here. Like this is the short review already. Like this was a fine movie to like rent, but as a sequel to How to Train Your Dragon, like it just felt like there was something missing here. Like I honestly felt really let down because it's not the everything was there. It doesn't feel like anything was like clicking right, you know? So I guess overall grade for the short review it would be like a C. I would give this a C. That's harsh, but yeah, this should show you just how much I was disappointed by this movie. Um, Going into long review now. Let me start with the good, because I'm gonna spend a lot of time with the bad. Good, well, I have my notes here. So good, number one, as always, the likable characters. Like, I said that about the first film, I'm gonna say that again. The characters here are really likable. Hiccup is always fun to watch. Gerard Butler as Stoic is also fun. America Ferrera as Astrid. It's like these are really good characters. There no argument here. And also, my other two notes here are kind of the same. Maturing of the storyline and maturing of design. Like even though I kind of ripped on that a few seconds ago, like I do appreciate that they're maturing the story or maturing the overall setting. Like you don't really get that actually in a lot of animated kids stuff. Like I don't know, sometimes it works. Like Avatar did it fine. Sometimes it doesn't work with all grown-ups, but here they took the chance and they aged Hiccup by a few years, and now it's like he's not the scrawny little kid anymore. He's like, well, he's not a hulking badass, but he's big now. And You can argue that it takes away the underdog quality in him, but it's actually kind of fine because like it goes into the whole idea of maturing your character. Like he's no longer the underdog. Like he's now like someone who everyone can get behind. Like no one's afraid for his health. Now they're afraid for him. Does that make sense? Okay, that doesn't really make sense. Like, they're not afraid that he's gonna, like, get himself hurt. They're more afraid that he's gonna get himself into situations where he's gonna get hurt. Because there's now more faith in his abilities to keep himself together. Which is fine. Like, allows them to take, allows the writers to take the Hiccup character into directions that, um, Hiccup didn't really go to. And that I'm all for that actually. I'm all for maturing the storyline and I'm all for like pushing the story forward. Sorry. And also I guess going back to the idea of the mature storyline, like they're going for more elements that you don't really get in kids movies. Does that if that makes sense? Like in kids story in kid shows you this is really annoying, but I noticed this in like a lot of animated kid shows and movies. Like the main hero and the main heroine are never together. Like they're always like in a situation of will they, won't they, will they, won't they. Here it's they are. Like it's just plain they are together. And it was a little like it wasn't jarring, but it was actually kind of cool that they're not even gonna like waste their time like um waste the audience's time of if they're gonna get together or if they're not gonna get together. Like they're together and they're together at the beginning of the movie, at the end of the movie, in the middle of the movie. They're just together, and I like that. Like it's a change of pace. And other mature storylines like they introduce yeah everyone knows this, but they introduced the mom, and that's actually something that a lot of like kid stories don't address. Like usually when like a parent's dead, they're dead. Like Frozen, they're dead. Lion King, they're dead. Here, the mom was thought to be dead and was hinted in like the first movie that she was dead. Here she's back. And they're and that's actually a really really intense topic, like the idea of like a long lost parent coming back into your life. That was actually really really that could go into really dark places, but I like that they're tackling this story. So you have all this good, and I'm not gonna lie, the first half of the movie was good. Like I liked all these interesting storylines coming into place. I liked all this maturing coming into place. But then the second half of the movie hit, and that's where all came crashing down. Like, okay, it didn't like epically fail, but it started to annoy. Like, sorry. Let me get into the bad. Okay, so this is the second half of the movie. And God. Okay, I feel this is my main problem of this movie. It's like if you're going to go the distance and like mature your storyline, then mature your story. Okay? And the reason why I have such a problem with this is that they introduced the main villain of this movie who is this random generic dude. And the reason why he doesn't feel like he belongs in this movie is because you realize this is the kind of villain you'd see in a kids movie or like your generic kids movie. Like he's like there, he doesn't really have a backstory to him. He's just evil. And it's like he doesn't feel like he belongs here, and he just sticks out. And he doesn't stick out in a way that like a villain should stick out, like, ooh, he's a bad guy and we should hate him. He just comes out here, it's like, what are you doing in this movie? And he ends up ruining the storylines a lot because okay, the main storyline was Hiccup finds his mom, and there's a family reunion, and the main focus is this family reunion. And also, there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, like Hiccup is being groomed to be the next, like, warden of Burke. Yeah, Game of Thrones. The warden of Burke, and The dad is oblivious to his claims, to his like pleas, and also there's this power struggle going on. Like the dad believes that he's still in the mindset that when you go to war, your enemy can't change, and the mom is with the impression that Burke can't change, that they're always going to be dragon hunters, and like the movie does a really good job in the first half where it's like, are they going to break up? Are they going to stay together? And there's this like real tension there that you feel like this family reunion is not going to last, and all that is ruined by the villain, and it just blew my mind just how ruined the storyline got. Like I heard that originally the mom was going to be the main villain, and I know that's kind of cheesy, like, oh, the mom is the villain, oh, like, she came back just to be the villain. And I know that is cheesy and predictable, but it would have been fine. It would have been better than taking the route of than just, like, introducing some random dude. And, like, it robs the audience of all that build up, all that like tension, all that like setting up of the character's ideologies. Like Hiccup believes everyone can change. The dad believes no one can change. The mom believes no one can change. And like all that build up is wasted because this villain was introduced into the story. And like if the mom was the villain, then the scene where spoilers, and you should know this by now, but the scene where Stoic dies, that would have been incredibly more powerful if it was the mom's fault. And I'm not saying like have the mom to make a complete like 180 and become totally evil. Like I kind of picture if the mom was the villain, then there'd be a part where she's just trying to scare Hiccup with Toothless, but then Stoic gets in the way and Toothless reacts in self-defense, and she's just there with like a shocked expression. Like it's kind of like that scene in X-Men First Class where Magneto is deflecting bullets from Moira, and one of the bullets hits Professor X, and there's like this like oh shit moment that he caused the paralysis. Like we could have had that kind of moment with the mom accidentally killing the dad, or maybe take it a dark route. Maybe have the mom kill the dad. Like there was, there was the build up for this kind of confrontation, but all of it was wasted because this random dude came into the picture, and yeah, I'm mad about that. But also, there's a lot of other things that I'm mad about. Like besides like robbing the audience of a really good confrontation, you're robbing a lot of the characters individually. Like, okay, let's start with Stoic. Because I feel like the only character done well in this movie was like Hiccup, but even he has some flaws. I'll get into that. Stoic. Like his arc was fine. Like his was more of a passing of the torch, but here this is my problem with like, if you're gonna go the distance of maturing the storyline, then like yeah, killing Stoic, that was a very like bold move, but they didn't really handle it well. Like when they had the funeral scene, it was sad, everyone's crying, and then moving on, and it's like the like nothing happened. It's like he's dead, but everyone is like back to their like normal selves, and like you don't see the uneasiness in Hiccup's eyes. You don't see like the pain in Valka the mom's eyes. Like you don't like the sadness was reserved for that one scene where he has the Viking funeral. And compare this to like a really good Disney movie, like when Mufasa dies. Like yeah, that scene is really sad, but the thing is, Mufasa's death drives like the whole movie. Here, one scene, funeral, next, everyone's fine. and it's like I'm not asking for him to be like crying the whole like rest of the movie, but I'm just like, where is the anguish? Where is the realization that his dad is like gone forever? It's like the death scene was just not wasted, but it's definitely there was definitely something missing there. Also the mom. Besides the fact that you robbed the audience of a really good villain, the mom, I feel like since the fact that they were writing her as a villain, she's not given a lot to do in the rest of the movie. Like I read an article where she suffered from Trinity syndrome, where she doesn't really do anything else afterwards. That's kind of what happens here. I really do see that. It's like she's just there in the final battle. Like she gives the pep talk and then that's it. Like she smiles at him at the end. It's like, "Yes, son, you have done your dad proud," and that's it. Like, like I can really picture like the writers having a hard time. Like it's like this movie. You had one like a group of writers writing the first half of the movie, then they get fired, and a whole bunch of other writers come in. They write their half of the movie, and they realize that their half doesn't really fit with the other half. And you really feel that in this movie, that the first half does not match the second half. And oh, I'm not even done yet. Like the other character, another character that I feel like that didn't get the screen time that she deserved was Astrid. And the reason why I feel like she got butchered in this movie is because yeah, I mean, yes, she's not a major component of the family, but still, she's an established character. It's established that she's gonna marry Hiccup soon. Yeah, yeah, they're not even. I forgot to say this. They're not even dating. They're like engaged. Okay, it's like Stoic already says, "Oh, she is my future daughter-in-law." That was my Scottish accent. It was really bad, but it's like if where was she in this whole movie? Like she was relegated to like the B plot when I feel like she could have been great as in the A plot. Could you imagine the story, the possibilities of like the mom interacting with her future daughter-in-law? Like where is that? Like what is she doing with all these minor characters? And also, um, when I also think about it, wouldn't it have been also great to see Astrid give the pep talk to Hiccup in the funeral scene? Like, I know, okay, yes. Let's say we went with the original route where the mom was the villain and Astrid gives the speech. Like, the reason why I think it would work really well, or possibly even better than the mom, is A, the audience knows her already because she's established. B, you know her relationship is strong with Hiccup because they're engaged. And C, it allows us to see just how, since we're going the route of maturing the storyline, it allows us to see just how mature not only has she gotten, but how both of them have gotten. Because um, I feel like the pep talk, it's usually done by someone really close and to the person and someone who's really trusted. And having her give the pep talk really tells the audience just how close these two are, that they're not just dating, that they are engaged, that they are like an item. And to not have her give the pep talk and give it to the mom who, let's face it, was just like they only met like that one day, okay? Or let's say maybe there was a kind of a montage. Let's say like 3 to 5 days. Like, yeah, it's the mom, but I feel like it's not as strong because she's really not as established as Astrid. Like, there's arguments there, but I feel like they wasted their opportunity with Astrid. Like, she feels like there was so much potential for her character in this movie. And also, like, yeah, going back to the mom. Mom was wasted. The dad was wasted. Hiccup was kind of wasted. Like, yeah, yeah, this is this movie. He becomes chief at the end, but it's like, um, it's like he had this really good uh beginning plot where he feels like he can change people's minds. Like you kind of see the makings of a good leader, of like a clan leader, because this movie is about him becoming the clan leader. Here it's like you see that kinda, but he doesn't really. mm, How to describe this? Like in the first movie, you can definitely believe his change from like a timid kid into, the Dragon Rider. Here is it's less believable seeing his change from like a timid like soon to be leader to a confident leader. It's because the plot, like, it's not really on Hiccup's fault. It's more of the plot's fault. Like, also, I noticed this about the second half of the movie. Yeah, I really do hate the second half. The second half of the movie is rushed. Like, I feel like they ran into the same problem that Spider-Man 2, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, fell into. They were introducing all this like shit into the movie that they had to rush like some plots. Like and when I say they had to rush plots, like the second half of the movie, they had to defeat the villain. Hiccup had to establish himself as the clan leader. He had to Toothless has to establish himself as the new Alpha Dragon, and it's like there's too much going on that I feel like Toothless becoming the Alpha Dragon. Yeah, this is a plot in this movie too. Toothless becoming the Alpha Dragon could have been its own movie, uh, because it took away the subplot of Hiccup becoming the clan leader, and so when he does become the clan leader, it's not as satisfying as when Hiccup became like the well-respected dragon rider he was at the end of the first movie. And yeah, I guess the side characters, they were there, not much to talk about. Kit Harington's character, I guess, is part of the main cast now. Like the bounty hunter dude, I forgot his name. But to sum it up, How to Train Your Dragon 2, it was an okay movie. Like, it was pretty to look at, but I feel like that's all this is. It's just pretty to look at. The plot was just bothersome, and there was just a whole bunch of wasted potential. Like I could have, this could have been like this could have surpassed the first movie if they had gone the distance and gone like having Balka as the villain, having these like really really tough family confrontations. But instead, they went the easy route and just went with like your basic, like generic, oh, I'm a bad guy villain. I seriously hate that guy. Like I feel like he ruined How to Train a Dragon. But I know a lot of people are probably gonna disagree with this. It's okay. It's this is how I thought about it. Maybe you have a differing opinion of How to Train Your Dragon 2. Maybe you thought it surpassed the first movie. Personally, I didn't, but I'm just a guy. Okay, so if you hang on. Sorry. Sorry, something popped up. But anyways, overall grade of How to Train Your Dragon 2. Let's wrap up. C. C. Not as good as the first movie for me. Could have been a whole lot better. But yes, done.